welcome back. Well, we're still here, and our next guest is she's been described as Nigeria's first female master mariner. She's Captain Rosalind Toto Kete. She has had over 30 years experience on sea. We talked about being on water. Some stay years, months. I don't know how they do it, but we'll find out from the captain this morning on the show. Hello and welcome to the morning brief.
Good morning, thank you, ma. My name is Captain Rosalind Kete, as you said, a native of Sangana in Akasa Kingdom, Brass Local Government, Bayelsa State.
All right, so my first question to you will be, Ming, how did this all begin? How did it even all start? Were you ever a water person? Let me ask that. Did you ever like the sea? How did it all start?
Okay, actually, while growing up, we are all from the coastal area, and my dad has this native cargo vessel, and he used to take us to Port Harcourt during the holidays. And one of the holidays, I saw a vessel that is a yacht with a lot of kids, And I asked my father, I said, Dad, can I join those people? Because, something to do with water, and I saw little children. It means I'll be able to do it well too, So he told me, the place is at Borigri, So I said, okay, if that be the case, I have to go and look for this place. So I got there, and then I met the captain of the vessel. And at that time, I was very lucky. They asked me to join. So that is how I joined in 1986. Then I continue on with, the show. Every Sunday I go with them. And then to a point, 1989, I went to sea school in Saka when they, inaugurated it to Sports Institute. So I saw this same wheel again during when they were crossing us with the vessel, and I asked the captain that I would like to join him to steer the wheel. So he said, okay, if I'm interested. So that is where actually I got motivated, and then I started with the job. So it's like a sport, it's like a fun, I never knew this is actually going to be a big deal. But today, I have carried on, I chased this career until date, and I'm now a master mariner and the first in the country at large. I'm very grateful.
So let's talk about the challenges of being a woman in that space, which is why a lot of people celebrate and are excited to hear from you. We understand, put the record straight for us. We understand that when people go at sea, sometimes they could be away for, is it 3 months or 6 months? So you help us with the facts. Is it 3 or 6 months? Is it a year? And as a woman, how do you cope with all of that, being absent from home?
Okay, as a woman, it's actually challenging. During the period I started, I never see any woman at sea, actually. And when I joined as a cadet, I went for about 2 years before I could come down to see my parents. So it's very challenging, but then it is easy when you are, you know what you are doing. So I think it's a very good job.
So from what you're saying, does it mean that you didn't give me the facts? You said for you it's 2 years before you came back from your first voyage, I guess. But usually, how does it work within that space? Do you stay for 6 months or 3 months, 1 year? Just a bit of facts.
18 months, sir.
Each time you go at sea as a captain, you have to stay away for 18 months.
Okay, during the cadetship, yes, 18 months. But during our routine job period is 60 days, sometimes 90 days.
Okay, 60 to 90 days. So when you come back, you stay for how long away from sea?
When I come back, I stay the same 60 days or sometimes 90 days or less,
Okay.
Wow. I've always respected people that go on the sea. If you've ever been on a boat, you know what, let me downgrade it. If you've ever been in a swimming pool, let me downgrade it further. If you've ever been in a bathtub, you know how tricky the water can be. But you're not in a bathtub, you're not in a swimming pool, you're not even in a river, you're on the sea. I mean, I don't think it gets as even more intense than that. So I don't have a heart, but I doff my heart for you. And the essence of this conversation also is to, bring to light some of those occupations that are vital to our existence, but people don't really recognize it, because as a master mariner, you captain a merchant ship or passenger ship. It's different from those who maybe captain a luxury or pleasure ship or a naval ship. So you bring in goods, bring in people, as the case may be. You can speak to us about that experience. But one thing that is just right there on top of my mind is the fact that, is it because we don't have a lot of women as master mariners that we sometimes have issues of smuggling, crude oil theft, and the rest? Maybe if we had more women captains, there will be less of crude oil theft, because women are usually no-nonsense people. Men are too, but women, they don't take a lot of nonsense.
I know it's not going to be on my watch. Fine, women are very brave people, and when it comes to leadership, we are very, very, participative and autocratic sometimes, But to my vessel, I think I cannot take any, anything that is, I would say that I will keep my watch very well, and I take command very well, and be good with the guys there. No one can bring in any smuggling of anything, because we follow by the rules and follow by the policies of the SMS.
I mean, you talked, I like the parts you said on my vessel, which means you have some form of control. You're totally in control. So when you face challenges, how do you even calm nerves? I've been on sea and I understand how scary it could be. So when you face challenges on sea, maybe weather, some other stuff, form of challenge, how do you even calm people? How do you take control? How do you take charge?
Yes. When you encounter weather situations at sea, you summon the guys and then you bring them and then talk to them, at least to calm them down and give them a hope of getting to their destination without getting to a founder. And I think with the crew I have worked with, I think they believe I can take them through even storm or good weather, and they take to that. I think I haven't had any issues, So
let's talk about family. Apologies, you're married, madam?
Yeah.
Okay, because I wanted to find out exactly how you cope with the home front as against this being absent as long as you talked about. But if you add that to the next question I want to find out from you, which is the size of your ship, because you say you're in control of your ship. If you could also paint us a scenario where you had to brave up to take leadership, because the whole idea sometimes for this conversation is to make people learn, especially women. If they are master mariners, as you said, when you went in, there were no women, and now you're here because you want to tell women you can do this. So they need to see as much of the picture as possible, which is why I'm asking you that question about how you manage the home front and being away. That's on one hand. On the other hand is scenario where you had to take charge in the middle of men and asserted your authority, and it worked out well.
Well, taking charge is one thing. And I believe there are two kind of rules in the war. The captain is always right. And if the captain is not right in rule number 1, refer to rule number 2, is always right. And according to ISM, section 5, overriding authority. So if this overriding authority is given to the captain, and the captain work according to ISM, I think the command is always, according to ISM. So you must obey. And if you don't obey, it means you take your bag and leave the vessel for the people that wants to work on board. And in the area of marriage issue, I'm okay with my husband, and I'm very comfortable with it because he's a very patient person and the family is happy. Thank you.
Well, that's beautiful to hear.
Besides of my vessel, I've been always working as on PSV, oil field equipment, and I have also worked on, multiple PSV. So I think with oil field equipment, I'm very, very, conversant with it.
So, with your decades of experience, naturally, you'll have some insights or some policy advice for those who are managing, is it the blue economy, the marine sector, even you've talked about the crude oil, vessels for crude oil and the rest. So naturally, you'll have some policy ideas, having worked right in the thick of things. It's one thing to be in the office. It's another thing to be on the field. We need to marry that together so we can come up with the best policies. This government appears to be quite big on the blue economy and the rest. There's a new ministry sort of carved out for it. If there's one thing you want to point the attention of the minister and the ministry, and by extension the government, one thing you want to point their attention at to at least ensure that we get the very best from the blue economy, what will that one thing be, madam?
Okay, on the other hand, I think, yes, I agree we need to encourage our young ones coming up to join this, career. Because if myself as being a woman can come up to this extent, I think we need to encourage the young ones coming. And with the blue economy program, I think we'll go a long way with the youth.
Okay, let me piggyback on that and talk about something I had raised earlier, and of course you touched on, and that's your experience when it comes to the crude oil sector. Is there something else that we may be missing in that sector, such that we ensure that what is Nigeria's wealth stays as Nigeria's wealth, and we're able to exchange that for value to improve our economy, rather than the case where we have people pilfering Nigeria's wealth, and they do that in such brazen manner on the sea? I mean, vessels are not tiny, they're huge, they're really huge, and these people find ways to get them from the oil wells, the creeks, transport them to the vessels, and then get them to the buyers. So is there anything we're still missing that you'd like us to maybe fix in the area of crude oil theft and the transportation of it?
Anyway, on that aspect, I think I condemn the act. And it's also polluting our environment, degrading our economy, and even the ozone layers, is being destroyed because of that. And I believe the government has the right people in place to, calm situation down. So I think the government will handle situations like that because they have the right people in place.
You have talked about crude oil theft. Let's also talk about security on our waterways. With your experience, 30 years is not a small feat. You have been on sea for 30 whole years. So you'd imagine what security would look like and how best to use our waterways to tackle insecurity in the country. So what would be your advice to the government or security agencies associated with marine in tackling insecurity in the country?
Okay, as we're talking of security, and I think security is a thing that has to put in place, especially in our coast here. And for the period I have worked, especially from 2007, when things were very tense with security, we have, gunboats escorting us, and they've been, strict in taking surveillance around the area, and even our vessel with CCTV and all of that. So if the government can improve in those areas to keep the seafarers safe by, getting security agencies to see through the vessels while they are going on their way, I think that will be fine. And I believe they will work towards it and do it better.
All right.
All right.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. As we begin to wind down, I wanted to find out from you, in terms of pay, would you say that people in that space are well paid?
Normally, yes, they're supposed to be well paid, because as this, our work is something that we have to earn better. But as it is now, anyway, I believe Nigerian companies should try and see that they pay their crew very well, because it's like more or less a prison. If you're going into the prison for maybe 3, 4, 5 months before you come to the sea, no social life and all of that, I think we need to be well paid.
Right. Finally, Captain Rosalind Toto-Kete, please, to that little girl watching you right now, listening to you, who wants to be a mariner, who wants to do something different in a male-dominated field, just in 30 seconds, give a last line to her listening right now to you.
Okay, I am actually encouraging the females in Nigeria, those young ones coming up, to emulate me. I have been in this field for a long time. Right from the 80s up till now, it's not easy. And I think I encourage them to come and join the sea work. The sea going work, because with that, our young girls can have something doing, can be industrious and can be helpful to their family. Like unto me, from the place I'm coming from, I never thought I'm going to even get a pair of shoes. But today, I think I can be able to be proud of the work I'm doing. So I encourage girls to come on board.
All right, thank you. That's a good place to end this conversation. Thank you very much, Captain Rosalind Toto-Kete, described as Nigeria's first female master mariner, and well done for all you do. Thanks a lot for your time on the show.
Thank you.
All right, we're not done yet. We have Kose still coming on our entertainment segment. We want to know the difference between Nigeria jollof and Cameroonian jollof, but we have a lot for you. So Kose will join us in just a moment. Stay with us.